If you've been watching my channel, if you've seen any of the other videos, you'll know that I was trying to get the DYU A5 through the test to make it legal on the road because it has a throttle. Yeah. Now the throttle, you can't really take it off without disturbing this screen. See here? So it's not like I could just take the throttle off. I mean, I probably could, but it would be a bit of a complication. Anyway, the DYU has just got through the test, so it's now legal. I can legally ride it on the road, and I just want to go over a couple of things with you and what my thoughts are about the test. I've also got the pedal here as well, just to show you the difference in bikes. Yeah. My overall conclusion with the test is that they could make it easier because there aren't enough test centres. The one I went to was Yedding, miles away, about 18 miles away from where I live, and it ended up being a bit more costly than it would have been if it was like only a few miles away. And because you can't ride this one on the road, I had to end up taking a cab, which is quite expensive. I saw it through, got it through. I had to go for a retest. You will know that if you've been watching the channel. The retest was free at the time, but because I got there a day late, believe it or not, my fault. I thought it was on the 14th and it wasn't, it was on the 13th. I had to pay an extra £17, but luckily for me I had really nice examiners who squeezed me in on the 14th and did the retest. The retest was very quick, and there was only a couple of things that they needed to look at, so I have the certificate for it now. What I would say to you, my overall thoughts about going through this test: the process isn't difficult if you go online. I did it through the post. You can do it through the post as well. I think it takes a lot longer if you do it through the post. If you go online, which I'm going to do with the pedal, because I'm going to get the pedal done as well at some point, hopefully soon, maybe next month. I think the process is a bit quicker. That's what I was told anyway by the receptionist on the phone. But the actual process of getting it done is a little bit. There is a manual from the MSVSA website. If you go on the Gov website, you'll find it, the manual for these light mopeds, yeah, and they'll tell you what exactly you need to do. And it looks like a long manual, but apparently it isn't. But it is a little bit of a gamble, like a punt when you're going, because you might miss things. Like for instance, with the A5, although it got through, when the examiner put the envelope on the seat, yeah, the alarm in this bike went off, and he didn't. I don't think the previous examiner knew there was an alarm. But then he said to me, "Well, we have to look at the alarm as well." But I won't look at it this time because obviously it's got through. So because the previous examiner got it through without the alarm, because I don't think the alarm was on, it just flagged up that there was an alarm on the bike. So what I'm trying to say to you is, if you want to get, I'm not saying go and get this particular model, go and try this particular model, because I think there might have been things missed. But what I would say, and what the crux is, what I got out of the whole experience, was if you want to get a throttle bike through, make sure that the throttle bike is as simple as possible. No alarm, no fancy bells, no fancy lightning switches. Just make sure that it's like the pedal. In other words, the pedal is a basic bike. There's no alarm on this pedal. It's just a functional, really, by the way, before I say anything, it's a really good bike here. But it's just functional. There aren't any fancy bits. It doesn't have a fob. You turn it on at the menu. With the A5, you've got a fob. It's a little bit more fancy in that way. Don't put any mirrors on. You see this here? Don't put no mirrors on. Keep it as basic as you possibly can. And just make sure that it's a 250 watt motor and no more than 15.5 miles per hour in speed. And then just take your bike there and do the punt. And then what they'll do, because they're really friendly at Yedding, what they'll do is they'll look at your bike, put it through the process, and then they'll come back with a sheet of paper to tell you what it is that you've got to do to the bike to make it pass, or if you're lucky, it will pass first go. So that's what my thoughts are if you want to get a throttle bike through. I wouldn't necessarily go for the DYU A5 because I don't know whether it'll get through now that he mentioned something about the alarm. I think I was just lucky.